to be, which is why marketing is so important to all of us. And it's a trap. How many of you advertise in, this is not a negative on Lux Magazine, but anybody advertise in Lux Magazine? They've got this really good shtick going. You advertise in it, and then the distribution, this shouldn't be on tape, but the distribution is the front door in your store. And so you inevitably think your marketing is being seen by everyone because you see it. We did a campaign targeting some competitors for one of our clients. He kept saying, doesn't work, doesn't work, doesn't work. And I said, the data tells us it does. I don't care, because it doesn't work. So we targeted his personal home. And you know what? It was fabulously successful. We changed nothing. But because he saw it, he believed it was great marketing. So we have to be really careful with what our consumers see and what we see are two different things. My first rule, of course, is anonymity is bad strategy. People have to know who we are. And too often we rely on what we think is our own perception or our cognitive bias. In fact, I recently did a speech for a floor covering group, and I asked each of them, what is your most effective marketing? And number one was referrals. Well, is referrals really marketing? You're not really investing. I mean, you're marketing, but it's inert. You're hoping somebody else says something nice to you. Can you imagine Procter & Gamble, new brand manager, comes in, says, we have this new incredible toothpaste, it's the best in the business. And the brand manager says, to the brand manager, what are you gonna do? He says, well, let's let it go viral. Let's do social media. Let's do referrals. His butt will be out on the street because it's not how you do business. The other piece was Yelp and online reviews. That's like saying, sure hope somebody does a nice job for me. I'm in a market, I had a floor covering store there, and I sold it quite a few years ago, and I follow the people who follow it, because I'm a big fan of the company, so I write my name on it. And they've done a really good job of getting likes from people who don't live in the market. Now, it happens to be part of the buying group, but if they look into it, you say, are these people my people? In the high-end business, people want to hire designers who do the work of others of their ilk. I don't think floor cover is much different. If they look at who your referrals are from and who the people are saying they love you, and they don't look like you, then it's a problem for you. You need that continuity. If you read my newest article in Floor Covering Weekly, I talk about signals. Brands give signals that determine whether you're right for them. And right now, Home Depot and Flooring Decor are killing us because they send out the right signals. So, existing on referrals is really a frightening thing because people stop talking sometimes. Or they think you did something. Trump list exists on referrals, but a very large percent of the country do not like Trump for whatever reason. We won't get into that. But it's our responsibility to build our brands if we want to sustain what is probably going to be an off-market in 2024. So inert is status quo. I'm happy with what we're doing. Winning teams have the best offense. Now, this is what a football field looks like. I took out the players who were doing the offense. The guys, I'm gonna run downfield, I'm gonna catch the ball. And that's what it looks like, because everybody's blocking. And that's what referrals are, that's what social media is like. It's like blocking. But if you wanna win a game, you really need to have people go downfield. You need to find new clients who didn't know you exist and convince them, show them that you are the best answer to their solutions. So that's what we're gonna talk about. Social media. How many of you do social media? A large percentage. Good. It's fun. And it's like you have to have social proof today. And the cool thing about it is when we look at sales funnels, come down here, these are the things you should be doing. Social media is just there. But when you look at a sales funnel, you all know what this means. At the top is where you have those who are willing to people who never heard of you. Those are the ones you need to advertise to. At the bottom, those are willing to patronize you. Those are your customers. And it's great because we advertise in social media to those who know us. Now, I have a niece who's with a very, very large and she manages her social media. And because I'm not high on social media, I asked her, I said, very gently, and she said, well, that's not what social media does. We just keep our current customers engaged. That's what social media is really good at. Now, she's in a category that people buy new products to augment what they have all the time. It's a do-it-yourself craft program, but it's large. It's sold at all the best buy, all the different hobby companies, and they have a huge following. But how do you get new clients? And her exact words were that that's not what social media is for. Social media is so your customers tell you that they saw you, and that's great. So we believe it's good because they tell us, and the youngest person on our staff is doing it, and it's fun. Does it drive business? I'm not so sure. No, I'm sure. I don't think it works. And I see literally hundreds of different, because we manage marketing for a lot of companies, over 100 different Google Analytics. Social media doesn't drive people to their website. No. You could argue, well, the website's not important. And maybe for social media, it's not because they're already customers. But if you want new customers, we have to drive new people to your website. Social media is down here, and what we call serious marketing is up at the top. This is how you're going to survive when the market slows down, finding new customers. You all know the decline of print is profound. Who here was surprised that Sports Illustrated was still being printed when they announced last week they laid off everybody? And if there's ever a publication we didn't need, it's Sports Illustrated, because the stories and everything's online, and the scores are there. We want to know what the scores are, right? So that was not a surprise, but it's another in the dozens, hundreds of magazines that just didn't make it, because as much as we all love magazines, we're online. We're all online. How many of you have one or fewer subscriptions to a magazine today? A lot of you. Why pay for something we can read online, right? So, and here's our sound, Anton. You know the song. It's the Twilight Zone. Because today we have entered the Twilight Zone with what you can do. And that's what makes everything fun, because it's now measurable. You can actually see the data. Hey, Anton, do you have sound?
Really?
You know how it goes. We can all probably sing it, particularly after holidays. So the campaigns we're running is the name of this title, but really it should be campaigns you should be running, because we can do we're doing it. You can do some very, very cool things, particularly in floor coverings. Why? Because the gestation period when somebody starts looking, when someone's buying, is long, plus it's a big ticket item. So, in business, there are certain truths, and the bottom one is no one is immune from market forces. The Kardashians are famous. I don't know why. They're rich. I don't understand why, because I don't know what they do, but I see them everywhere.
Social media.
Social media. Could be it, except I'm not on social media. But they are everywhere. By the way, social media certainly drives other pieces. A celebrity designer last week, 2 weeks ago, explained to me, designers do social media because they want to be picked up by the magazines who want them to promote that they were picked up in the magazines, because magazines have the same difficulties. So it's this symbiotic relationship, which works for designers in the design trade. So, rule number 34. If Coke, Home Depot, and Chanel have to advertise, so do you. It's just that simple. And so often, we think that reviews, we think that social media is enough marketing, and it really isn't. There's so much more you can be doing. So first we'll talk about the basics. You all should have networking strategies. Word of mouth will always be important, because people buy from people. So if your warehouseman, although he may be a warehouseman, he probably has a group that he can network with. Same thing with the salespeople who might be mothers who don't need to be home in the evening. There are mothers groups in most communities. Find these places. It enriches them, and it helps you bring in business. You don't compete against other floor covering stores. You compete against all the other experiences of your customers. So when you do advertising, whatever you do, don't think in terms of, by the way, any carpet one dealers here? Anybody? Okay, just wait for me. No, okay, so we can make fun of Carpet One. I'm a former Carpet One executive, and I love Carpet One, but it's like my brother. My wife, I'm the one who make fun of my wife, right? So we have to think about these different things, the essentials of your DNA, all the different pieces. You got to be put together with this, so that when you market, you do a consistent program that then drives who you are to your customer. So, the most basic return on cool, you gotta be cool. You gotta find ways to get beyond floor covering store and be cool in some way. I don't care what it is, but look for 3-4 different pieces that make you cool. It can be handles, it can be signage, it can be whatever it is. But if you have the same Mohawk and Shaw and other brand displays as everybody else, you're just like everybody else. Find those pieces. Chandeliers, by the way, are beautiful. You can get chandeliers that are plastic, that look like the thousands of dollars. I mean, just do things to sex up your store. Use lighting. I mean, you have an RH store in your market. You know, RH does a really good job with drama, using lighting. Take advantage of these things. Make your product look like it's more than it really is. So, the most basic of all is that today you are a technology company. You're not just a floor covering store, you're a technology company. And if you look at yourself differently, you will change how you do business and where you invest your money. How many broadband companies there? Many? One? Okay, good. Two? Not very many. Considering they have 3,000 dealers, only 2 were here. That's good. So, how do you do it? You use satellites. Satellites can change your business dramatically because you can find your best prospects using them. Number one is attack your competitors. If you're not attacking your competitors using satellites, you're not really competing. You're not using satellites, you're not really competing. How many of you are using satellites to attack your competitor stores? Nobody. Okay, we're gonna have some fun today. So this is essentially what you do. This happens to be the store I have. That's the layout. You then take a satellite and you beam down and you hit every person's cell phone that's inside the store and you send them ads. These are active shoppers looking to buy floor covering, and you can have your ads on their computer and their cell phone within 12 hours. This is the simplest, most aggressive way to increase your business. Active shoppers learning about you. Remember, these are bad people because they went to the wrong store first. So it's your responsibility to inform them that they made a mistake. Right?
Amen.
So you nail them with your ads. It is, I'm going to say that, it's absolutely flawless when it comes to floor coverings. Why? Because it's not like a restaurant where they go in and order and go home. They go in and they take the sample home or whatever they do. They don't make it, it's a thoughtful purchase. So it's a really easy way for you to take customers from people. I've got some data to show you a little bit. So that's what you do. But you can also hit residences. We have clients who target customers who already bought because they don't think we get enough referrals. And besides, you reinforce that they made a good decision when they see your ads. We're targeting, I don't want to exaggerate, over 10,000 homes that are listed for sale. Why? Because what percent of your business comes from people who just bought a home? A lot. So you can look at the homes that need flooring and target them. And who do you hit? People who are looking for a home at that price point, people who are going to buy the home, and realtors who refer people. It's a win-win-win, right? Build your brand that way. Offices, country, any place, anything you want to own. Just leave the satellite on and keep it going. There are privacy issues, and but the truth is still 90% of people use and opt in to some sort of location data on their website. They do it through weather apps, they do it through Uber, and other DoorDash, all the different companies that need to know where you are, they make money by selling that data to technology companies who use it. So it's there, and you should use it. For the same reason, you're not annoying clients, you only hit them if they're interested in your product. Yeah, there's a caveat to that, but that's the truth. So who are your best customers be in 2024? So do you want consumer? I actually have it's too small, I don't know if you can read that. Can you read that at the top, Mentimeter? We'll skip that piece. I'm sorry. Anyway, you can segment your prospects and clients, whoever you want to hit. So it's fun. You want to hit designers, you want to hit designers. Remember, marketing is a battle of perceptions. And it's not about lowest price. It's do you fit? And are your values consistent with your project? Because if it's about the price, we and almost any company that competes against Home Depot are screwed. And we're screwed because their cost of business is 18% and ours is 30%. So they can sell at our cost of business and be very profitable. And we, of course, can't sell at our cost of business. So we have to be more. We have to give clients something beyond that. They're going to get their share, but we can't by being different and giving customers something different. It's our DNA. It's how we're involved in the community. It's who we are personally. They will buy from us because we're good and they're the evil empires. Now, the cool thing is you can buy, once you determine who you want to target, about any audience you want. So this is different examples of different data companies that sell their data. Now, here's an interesting one. Did you know you can buy Carpet One? So if you didn't want to geofence Carpet One, you can also, on a national basis, target every person that's gone on Carpet One all over the country. Why? Because the stores, like many of your stores, is big, it's open, it's one floor, and it's a straight shot down to the satellite. So it's an easy target. Anybody here part of the Mohawk or Shaw group? Maybe they're doing this, I don't know. Maybe they have a difficult situation because Mohawk and Shaw both sell Carpet One. But the data's there. It's there for you to buy it. So let's get into tactics a little bit more. You can target any street address you want. You have somebody, you want to be a client, target them. I have a client that heard that Will Ferrell is building a house in Mammoth Lakes. Multi-million-dollar, huge home. So what did we do? We picked up the address where he lives and targeted his home address. It is important to have the right address because we found out after they moved into the house that it was Colin Farrell, not Will Ferrell. But I can assure you that Will Ferrell knows that designer. So who needs to know you're important in the market? That's who you want to hit. So if it's consumers, it's really easy. Just target your competitors. Those are active shoppers looking for floor covers. 2, you can target people by net wealth. So if you only want to target those worth X million of dollars, you can do that. If you want to target those who are net 750 to 500 to 11 to 1, I'm sorry. That is so out of focus, Anton. It is, you can target. You can target by a lot of different things. You can target by apps on their phone. So most country clubs have apps because that's how you make your reservations. You can target those apps on their phone, and you can also overlay with how much they're worth. You can target by God bless you. You can also target by things they read. We've done a lot of Wall Street Journal campaigns. Golfers have their handicaps online. So when you think about this universe and all the different things that are online, you can target people just by the apps. Almost every newspaper in the market has an app, right? You know, find what your best prospects are reading, and you can target them. Skiers, we're doing a lot of skiing apps right now. I'm not a skier, but it's everything from Yellowstone ski to Telluride to, and then they have a couple different names that transcend all of them. Icon is one, I Get the other one. Everybody know the other one? Skiers out there? It's easy to target people by groups. Database. If you have a database of past clients, you can target them. It's really simple. There's two ways to target them. One, of course, we can target where they live, if they still live there. And two, we can reverse process. In other words, we take their email address and their home address and any other notes, phone number, and we buy third-party data that reverse process it to their IP address and advertise to them. So if you have a list of individuals, maybe they're influencers, you'll see that in a minute, that you want to advertise to. It could be journalists in your market. It could be business leaders in your market that you want to influence. None of this is expensive, and you can just keep it on them because they're influencers. They're important to you. Event fencing. There are events. In Naples, Florida, there's a wine festival going on this weekend. We have different people targeting the wine festival. We're also, they're doing a lunch, it's a $3,000 lunch. We're targeting the lunch, the restaurant they're having lunch at. And then they're doing 19 different dinners at different people's homes, where people spend a lot of money to do it, and we're targeting each of those homes during the period of the dinner. So you can find, it could be a school has an event, can't target anything under senior, so we go to senior high schools, can't do anything under that. But you can target your community that way. You can cluster fence. In other words, you can do lots and lots of homes. We do, as I mentioned before, a lot of homes that are listed for sale. A lot of homes that are just sold. So you want to get the last 100 homes that have sold in your market in the last 2 months. Boom, you hit it. Really simple. And it's all because this technology allows us to do things that we couldn't otherwise do. Category. Anybody think of a category like a builder or an architect or property managers that you target? Each of them have a government code, a census code. It's called an NAICS number. Anybody? They used to be SIC numbers. Anybody know what their NAICS number is? Doesn't matter. But you can target the same one you get floor cover dealers. You can target floor cover dealers just by going to the NAICS number. And then you just sell everybody that has that number. So in your market, you may want to hit builders, you may want to hit architects, you may want to hit property managers, you may want to hit realtors. It's really simple. Because they all have the same NAICS number. Is that kind of cool? That's actually new in the last year. But it's a great way to just, what I like to call blanket your community. Filtered rain campaigns. You can take your community, and we have a list of filters, a couple thousand filters, that you can target who you want to get. So for example, you can hit people by their age. So if you want to hit only people between 35 and 44 and up to 64, you can target them if they have an education or not. You can target them by ethnicity. You can target them by the value of the house. You can target them by the equity in their home. It keeps going on and on. By net worth. It doesn't stop. By their household income. You can reach anybody by about any measure you want, just by going through the different filters. You can see what they're interested in. They're into cars, but I'll show you cars in a second. It's really deep with cars. You can literally target any Volvo, any person who's a Volvo S180, and you can also narrow it down by the year they own and target them out. There's about 3,000 different filters that shows down to 3,100, but it's because car dealers use it so extensively. They know exactly who's going to be buying their car. That's all they target. Why waste your time with anybody else? A Ford customer is rarely a Volvo customer, and vice versa. Not always, but often you have a higher percentage of chance of catching that way. PR campaign. We've identified And you can do the same thing. Go to Amy Fleury sells the list of journalists in different categories. By the way, you can buy the list, it's 150 or 200, it's not very expensive. And then you know who the magazine editors, who the magazine writers are. And then you can augment it just by, who's written the article you're reading. And you can use the database reverse and target them. So it's another way to hit best prospects or be written about. Because if you hire a PR agency, they're going to be $3, $4, $5, up to $80, maybe $1,000 a month to pitch you, but this way they already know you. And knowledge or understanding or knowing you exist creates great gravitas. And that's what you want to do with marketing. So, retargeting. How many of you are retargeting your website? Okay, I see some hands. That everybody should be doing that. What that means is you put a little pixel on your website, and everyone who visits your website gets your ads. And how have the responses been for you? Let me ask, since you raised your hand.
I don't have the measure exactly, but I've seen that the brand awareness campaign was much stronger because of this return.
Good. It's inexpensive. Most of you won't pay more than a couple $100 at most a month, and you get people back. And we go to websites that we forget. This way they remember it every day that you're there. None of the things we're talking about are expensive. We'll get into that a little bit. Keyword display. A lot of people do keyword display, and a lot of people do AdWords. The AdWords means and I take it more people do this because you're getting these cameras out, but two ways to do it. Somebody looks up carpet, for example. Who here uses carpet or LVT as a keyword? Are you doing pay-per-click or are you doing AdWords? You raise your hand. Do you remember? You do what? You do. What are you paying for carpet for every click?
I don't know personally. We have a team that does that.
Okay. They're probably paying more than $1 per click. Can anybody confirm that?
Yeah, a lot more than that.
Pardon?
A lot more than that.
How much?
A lot more than that.
A lot more than that. Okay. How much do you pay for a click?
We don't buy the word carpet.
What?
We don't buy the word carpet.
Okay. If you did, what would you have to pay for it?
We'd be paying thousands for every time Halle Berry walks down the red carpet.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Thank goodness for Halle Berry, right? So somebody searches for carpet or X word, whatever it may be, and it should be your competitors. It should be any category. It could be Mohawk or it could be Shaw. And then two ways to do it. If it's pay-per-click on the list, you get toward the top. Now the downside to this, and the cost to do that, is you pay by click. The problem is you have big companies like Home Depot and Lowe's are almost always up at the top. Carpet One, I think, is at the top because they just buy it on a national basis. The other way, which we find is more effective, is instead of being on the list, which is quickly gone, you send them ads for 30 days. So it's what's known as a display campaign, AdWords display campaign. And then they see your ads. Again, the great thing about being in our business, they're not looking for dinner that night. They are thinking about buying floor covers. So that's an easy way to do it. Again, not very expensive. And you send them ads. That's simple. All of a sudden, you're everywhere. And everywhere is a good place to be. Market immersion. This is kind of fun. A market immersion, I'll show you some examples, is where we take every one of your competitors and you, and like sharks, we watch where they go. So, we did one in Houston just recently. It was a stone company. We did 18 different locations, and like sharks who were tagged, we watched where they go, and before long, we knew who the competitors were and who they weren't. We also knew who was losing business, who wasn't, and you discover who your competitors are and who they're not. Because we assume because someone exists, we compete with them, but we don't. At least customers tell us they're not going there. So here's an example. Last year for one of our projects, we followed 4,851 people who walked into a floor cover showroom in 10 different markets, and voila, they started getting everyone's ads, and we followed them. We actually weren't concerned about showing ads, we just wanted to follow them. So, Who has whose number? This is examples. So in Dallas, the number of liquidators beats Home Depot. Anybody here from Minneapolis? Good. Well, I want you to know Carpet Country Carpet 1 is killing Lowe's, has Lowe's number. Right? That's not your company by chance, is it? It is? How about that? Okay, so Carpet Exchange beats Veterans Carpet 1, up 14. So you're able to look at it. And remember, this is a 30-day period and probably a $250 investment. Getting 14 clients from Veterans Carpet 1 is a big win. You only need one to make it get great ROI, don't you? And that's the fun piece about attacking your competitors, because they're real customers. Which stores are most likely to click on an ad? In other words, when you target a company, who leaks? In other words, who hasn't built a relationship with someone who's walked in the store that their customer is still looking? So, for example, in Boston, Franklin Tile Carpet 1, 78% of the ads, or 0.78, the person clicked on looking for another store. Interestingly, landed on Card, which is also in Boston, very high number. Minneapolis, Majestic Flooring. Do you compete against Majestic Flooring? No. Okay, so anyway, you find out who leaks. How many of you are leaking customers, or do you know to who? That's what an immersion does. It allows you to know who your competitors are and who you're not. You can do social media ads. If you like social media and you want to have easy ads, literally you can repurpose your campaign. So you have a campaign that you're running a certain amount of, maybe you're trying to promote something, you're trying to promote the owner's family or whatever the hell it is. It is, you can do that just by taking social media and repurposing it. So does it work? I think so. In fact, when I was looking at the presentation this morning, I get an ad from chemistry, which Kelly Clarkson is going to be here in Las Vegas. So they know I'm here. Satellites told them that. And they're sending me ads hoping I'm here till the 8th or 9th. That's the power of geofencing. And then so many people do it. So this is the floor coverage store. In a last quarter of last year, we served 42,000 ad impressions. They are, so it's under $500, not a big investment. And 161 people who were in their competitor stores walked into their store. Now, could have been a rabbit, could have been the postman, UPS guy, but most were not. Most were customers. It's a pretty powerful number for a small investment. It's all because of satellites. Here's another one. This is a full year. They did over 1 million ad impressions. They had 3 stores, and they had 1,220 people walk in their 3 stores who had visited another store. There's 3 different markets too, I should add. Big numbers. In this particular company, they are, that's all they do anymore. Used to do print, used to do radio, they don't anymore. Here's another one. This is a full year. Weren't as aggressive. It's a floor coverage store. 702,000 ad impressions, 822 clicks. Now, by the way, on average, you'll have 10 times the number of people visit your website than click on your website. So it's 822, but I'm sure it's over 8,000 people, and we know that from Google Analytics, because we watch where people come from. But the big one is 443 people in their stores. And they have 4 stores, 5 stores. Actually, they have 5 stores, we only work on 4 stores. We don't do the New York store, but big numbers again. It drives people who are active prospects into your door, who are shopping somebody else. So now I want to talk about who you're going to take business from. And since we're near the end, I'm going to try this. If you all could take out your cell phone. Can you see this slide? It says, I want you to go to menti.com. We're going to take a survey. We'll take 2 surveys, and we'll see the results. Now, it's going to ask you for a code. Tell me when you're ready for the code.
Ready?
Anybody ready?
Ready.
Okay, it's 745-18176. And I'll repeat that again. It is 745-1876. It's going to ask you to accept their terms.
What was the website again?
Menti?
Pull out of this.
M-E-N-T-I?
M-E-N, that's not right.
I think there are 2 questions. And we'll have the results right now. Suzanne's on, is done. It worked before we started. Okay, so, thank you. So this is telling us that you want to target this year design professionals, residential, consumers, upper middle, and builders. At least 23, 24 of you do. Pretty simple, just use the addressable, the filter campaign. You can identify them. You can also identify them by the NAICS number. And if you have their name, you can target, particularly for designers, you can target where they live, because so many work out their homes today. So each of these are really easy targets. Consumers, same thing. Really easy. If it's high-end consumers, which is kind of our specialty, target by the value of their home. If you want the ultra-wealthy, what we do is we target aviation apps like NetJets, FlexJets, Sentient, Wheels Up, and then overlay it with a $5 or $10 million network. And then you're getting the very wealthy as 1% of 1%. But most of us don't go after that. But you can see what the results are. Yeah, all of these, insurance adjusters, that's good. I just made that up. Main Street. So all of these targets are really simple by using digital marketing. Go to the next one. This next one is a word cloud, as you can see. So it looks like we want to beat Home Depot. Home Depot is a really difficult one because the percent of people buying floor coverings who walk into Home Depot is relatively small. And so you have a lot of waste. So as much as most everything we do is like a sniper, it's difficult with Home Depot and Lowe's. It's also difficult with floor and decor.
Really?
Because for whatever reason, floor and decor is a really, really, really good competitor. Their CEO claims they have an 84% closing rate, which is hard to imagine. You may have read my article for Cover Weekly about it, but the CEO says it of a public company, it's got to be pretty close to being true. Our experience with geofencing floor and decor has not been very good. You walk into a floor and decor, you know exactly what they have, you know it's limited because they only have so much product or whatever. And the salesman will say, if you don't buy it, it could be gone. There's fear involved, and they're tough to compete against. But the others, Carpet One is easy. All these other companies, pretty simple. And I certainly encourage all of you to do that. Where do your ads show up? Let's see if I can get my PowerPoint back. Anton, is this going to come up easily? Yeah, how about that? Could be New York Times, could be local newspaper. It It could be different apps. It follows your customers instead of being specific. There are some companies, for example, Business of Home. Anybody, do you read Business of Home in the morning? That's what they call a walled garden. You're not going to be on Business of Home. They sell their own products. But the others, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Oops. This is what your ads look like. Pretty simple. 300 by 250. When you're using digital ads, but these are all pretty high-end, but it's just about planting that seed, letting people know you went to the wrong place and you need to come to my showroom now. You can certainly do more promotional, bigger ones. The world is your oyster, but most importantly, as we started before, we have to get rid of our cognitive bias. We have to think differently about how we do business, and we need to stay in front of our best prospects as often as we can. With our type of marketing, we want to hit every person about 20 times a month. At that point, we start to see lift. And this is one of the downsides to social media. It's very difficult to hit the same person with that frequency. Pardon? How many times did you say?
20.
20 times, which is 5 times we figure most people 4 places. Now, what's the cost of all this? I'm not here to sell you. There's a lot of companies that do this. But you'll pay between $10 and $20 a thousand ads. So it's not expensive. You target a floor coverage store today, you probably target 2 of them for $250. So none of this is expensive. You have people in your market, your magazines in your market probably do this. The McClatchy's, the different newspaper, all do that. My company does it. I'm not here to sell you. But what I am here to do is to help you see there are different ways to use technology that all of you can be more successful in. Thank you. Do you have any questions? Yes, let me give you a mic. Hands up.
What platform are you using to serve this satellite ads? Is it Google Display Network or is it a custom platform that you and your company has by itself?
No, everybody goes through Google. So Google's involved, but there's about 15 platforms. Google is really the biggest. Yahoo has one. There's a lot of them. You can also, by the way, do TV ads, and you can do radio ads, and you can do LinkedIn. So you could target somebody's home and then just send ads to their home. So it's kind of cool what you can do.
Where do you start getting these lists from? Is that done through Google Ads or is that
They're all done through tech companies that have this information. There are privacy laws. Okay, thank you. I've been told, I think she said 30 minutes? No, she said stop. Yeah, there are technology companies that do this. When you contact your local technology company, or me, they'll take care of this. It's the privacy laws that the left hand can't know what the right hand's doing all the time. So when we do targeting, we can't get the name. However, there's technology we're testing right now that tells us who visits our website, their name. And I'm not ready to tell you first, but it's out there. Any other questions? Let me thank all of you for being here. I'll be around. I've got a presentation tomorrow, and thank you for being here. Have a great show.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
There you have it. Chris Lanyon.